Hi there. Welcome to the Founder Bounty podcast. Today we have Dr. Neetu Johnson. Welcome. Feel free to give a quick introduction.
Hi, thanks, Vlad, for having me. My name's Dr. Neetu Johnson. I'm a consultant psychiatrist, which means I'm a senior medical doctor with expertise in mental health medicine. And I'm also the medical lead of a company called Prescribe Life Global Health.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So we're really excited about today's episode as we think it will give a lot of you founders and people trying to build businesses a great insight into the mental health of building a company. We know how hard it is to build a company. I certainly do. I've been through it. I've had a burnout, and it's something we'd love to talk about during this episode. But the first question that I like to ask any of our guests is, what do you think makes a good entrepreneur?
Okay, so from me, I'm probably going to answer this as a mum, as a doctor, and as a fellow founder. And I think knowing from the outset that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So having that balance, having that outside before starting a business, that it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a while. And in the process, I'm going to stay calm and keep grounded.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a couple of different answers to that question. I certainly have my take on what makes a good entrepreneur, but it will be really interesting to hear a little bit more about this while we go through the episode. So tell us a little bit about how you work with founders. What are the key traits you found in founders and the difficulties they're having while building their companies?
Yeah, I think we know that founders in general, they're trailblazers, they're creatives, they're huge risk takers, and they want to do something new. So that's a fantastic personality trait to have. But the problem with that, Vlad, as much as it's an amazing trait, if you keep living that way, so carrying out all these high risk decisions and staying up late at night and getting in the roller coaster of entrepreneurship, there will come a point where if you don't take care of yourself, you will burn out. And I think that's what I'm seeing with founders, that their stress and anxiety is now unmanageable. And we've got some stats out there that I've shared with you before. I mean, 72% of entrepreneurs are now saying that they're suffering from anxiety, burnout, and other mental health conditions. So I'm quite worried about what's happening in the entrepreneurial world, because with that, you'll have the issues of not being amazing at your project, and then your problem solving abilities won't be there. So as much as the roller coaster seems really fun and great and a great experience, if we don't take care of ourselves, you will get to a point of perhaps not performing as well as you want to.
Mm-hmm. hmm And that's something actually I really want to talk about. Some key advice that you would give to early stage founders in order to maintain, a good mental health and continue to push forward. I mean, I've certainly had a lot of difficulty when I've tried to build a company, and it's so difficult to build a business and a startup, and you keep getting blocked. Your revenue's not going up. You don't feel like you're achieving the goals that you want to. And so, talking about these key traits and key skills to keep you focused, maybe you could expand a little bit about that and what you think will help you to continue to push forward.
Yeah, I think just before giving a whole load of list of things that I'm hoping founders do, or in general people do to look after their mental health, and I'm most happy to go through that. I just want to, I guess, retract and just give an example of, for example,
Mm-hmm.
my business partner, who's also co-founder of the company. He wishes he had the advice that we are now, we now know that it's so important for mental health. So again, he got to a place working 15 hours per day, neglecting his good nutrition, neglecting his physical health, neglecting his family, and with that comes consequences. Then your sleep becomes not so good for your brain, because you're just still on a high octane
Mm-hmm.
working day level. Then your sleep becomes impaired. For example, you're just getting
Mm-hmm.
takeouts. You're not having good nutritional food. If you're not
Mm-hmm.
exercising, for me, movement is medicine. So if you're not
Mm-hmm.
exercising, you're not actually, repairing your body. So, I remember specifically my business partner saying, God, I actually need something I need someone or something to just boost me up and tell me what's happening at a high level and what's not happening. So I think just having that insight, Vlad, first of all, that, oh my God, I've got this problem. I've got crisis now within my personal circumstances. My wife's not happy with me. I'm neglecting my children, or, I'm putting on weight. I don't feel as amazing as I used to. I've got brain fog, for example. So addressing when having that insight, first of all, that my health is taking a toll, then I think, taking action upon that. So for me, there's a couple of pillars, Vlad, that I incorporate in my mental health as a mental health doctor daily. These are absolutely my non-negotiables. And number one, I'm going to put it out there, quite controversial. I'm British. You're calling from the UK. Don't drink alcohol. Really, like, I know everyone thinks, oh, it's going to relax me at the end of a 15-hour working day. Alcohol itself is a depressant. So if already we're stressed or depressed, alcohol interferes with our GABA and glutamate receptors in the brain. So you're not going to get that amazing night's sleep that you think you're going to get after a long working day. Okay, that's my number one. Number two would be definitely to move, even if it's 20 minutes before you get to your desk. Just go around the block for 20 minutes, put a podcast on. Or if you can manage the gym, that's excellent. Weights resistance training is really good for the brain. But moving during the day at least, Vlad, right? You do 6 hours of work during the day, go and get half an hour walking exercise, and come back to your desk. I think all these little micro habits that the founders are not doing because they feel under pressure to get things done during the day, during the week. They've got deadlines to meet, and we get that as doctors. We get that. We've been under those high pressure jobs, challenges, difficult patients, difficult bosses. We get it. So that's why I really want to bring home the importance of self-care, especially for productivity and longevity.
Got it. Excellent.
Did you take notes?
Thank you so much. I totally agree with you. There's so much, and the first thing is, of course, understanding that there is a problem, and then actually trying to address that problem. And I, that's something that's so important for me. For example, when building a startup and while building a company, just I had trouble sleeping. I
Right.
was stressed. I was anxious. I couldn't, think about anything else except how do I get this off the ground? How do I deal with investors, with partners, with, getting this in front of clients? And it stressed me out so much. I couldn't sleep well. I wasn't eating
Mhm.
well. And so, maybe reaching out to someone like yourself and having that conversation would have been the right move for me while trying to build the business. So you've gone through a great list there of understanding that there is a problem, and the keys to actually address that problem. And these include, and I've read your article as well. You've talked about work-life balance. What kind of things would trigger that stress? Which would be, for example, finances, personal decisions, as well as company decisions,
Yes.
and the social disconnect. I think that's a really important one as well, because from the social element, you become very isolated. Is there any way to kind of deal with that, extreme isolation that you think a founder could
Yes.
do?
Yeah, really good question, Vlad. So the co-founder for the business and my business partner, he's actually joined a men's mental health group just
Right.
weekly. And it doesn't have to be founder specific. It would be great if there are other founders there, because then they get your stress and you can share your stories. But just, a group. And I know, again, we're really busy. For me as a psychiatrist, I'm going to say in person would be better, because that social connection, the eye contact, the bonding that you get in person, you can't get, even now when we're having this talk. It's, if we were in the same room, I'm sure it'd be maybe a little bit more, spriteful. But I just think if you can meet people in a group, excellent. But if you can't, in
Right.
online once a week, and a mental health men's coaching group is probably the best forum, because you can share your what's going well for you, what's not going so well. That'd be one advice. Getting to a group exercise, Vlad, if you,
Hmm.
again, you're struggling for time, so why not combine both? And actually, there is some research to show that when there's accountability for exercise, so getting a gym instructor or going to a group, you're more likely to do it.
Absolutely. Totally understand. So that's some great advice for you guys out there, for anyone who's going through these issues. And I think
Oh, sorry,
it's
Vlad, I've got to interrupt. I put it down for male groups. Obviously, there are female founders there.
female groups.
So for females, if you want to get with a
Absolutely,
female group,
absolutely both. Yeah.
sorry, I made it
Ab-
all quite male specific. My bad.
No, absolutely. For anyone out there going through this, joining a group could actually help. Because you become isolated, and then going through that group, as Dr. Neetu talked about, is would potentially help you. In terms of any specific things for someone dealing with, being less social anxiety, stress, is there any ways, the way they eat, anything specific that you would recommend to a founder, let's say in terms of nutrition, that you would talk about?
Okay, so but before joining you this morning, the first thing. So I'm really into intermittent fasting. Okay,
Got
so we've
it.
got loads of evidence to show when you do fast, you've got so many amazing hormones that are being produced and neuroreceptors. So growth hormone, for example, that increases when you fast. Ketones, they increase in your blood system, and GABA. I mentioned this before, and actually ketones and GABA really help with concentration. So if you do get into
Mm-hmm.
the fasting routine, so like I said, I fasted this morning and then I broke my fast with a protein shake. So I think it's about, what you can do quickly, but make sure it's nutritious. So protein shake means I'm getting protein to my system. Got some avocado in there, got some goji berries in there. I'm very keen on nuts. And for me, Vlad, it's about eating for the brain. Because if we are spending how many hours at the computer trying to be productive, it's not about having that fast food burger. That's not going to do anything for you. It's about the nutritious. You can go down the nutritious supplements, for example. I'm a big fan of omega oils, fish oils. They keep the brain really
Mm-hmm.
calm.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of getting on medication for anxiety, fish oils at night, for example, excellent for the brain. And that they help with the anxiety that you could be going through as a founder. Like I said, the exercise is really important, gut health. So if we're talking about nutrition, going back to that again, anything that's going to help the gut will help the brain. Yeah, I mean, I could talk
Got it.
about nutrition for hours, and especially as a
Yeah,
psychiatrist, where we're not trained in nutrition. I've done everything to see
of
what
course.
can we
Yeah.
do
No.
when it comes to not taking medication, Vlad, and that was part of my journey with this new founding company I've gone into. I don't want to prescribe medication anymore. It's such a plaster on
Of course.
your depression, your anxiety, what have you. We can do so many things to help ourselves in a
Right.
natural way, and you will feel better for it because you don't want a side effect. You don't want to be on a anti-anxiety medication which makes you sleep during the day while you're trying to build up a business. That's not going to help
Yeah.
at
So that's
all.
not going to
So if we
help.
can
Yeah.
put all these, and there's so much out there. I mean, I probably end up repeating all the other podcast people out there for nutrition. There's so many good things out there, but again, it
Mm-hmm.
might be, Vlad, that you need to keep yourself accountable. So if you can afford, get some meals cooked for you. So where
Mm-hmm.
I live in a Spanish island. We've got some chefs that can, really like quick budget. This is all I can manage. Can you cook 6 nutritional meals for me this week? Those kind of things. I
Mm-hmm.
think you should put to
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle.
Great, great. There's something else I found when I was going through and being close to a burnout, and that's something I wanted to kind of focus on how to avoid a burnout in my next question. But the first one is sleep and helping
Yes.
you sleep. Is there any kind of advice that you give to founders out there to help you sleep well while you're going under stress, while you're going under, let's say, a lot of anxiety? Any specific pointers?
Yeah. So, Vlad, do you remember I said about not drinking? I'm going to put
Mm-hmm.
that back in this topic here because alcohol absolutely ruins your sleep architecture. There's no
Mm-hmm.
study out there that's saying it doesn't. So, for me, sleep starts the night before. So, if we can at least not have any alcohol during the day, that's going to be great for your sleep. Coffee, if you can restrict it to just having it in the morning and don't top yourself up with
No,
cups of coffees
guilty.
all
I'm
day.
guilty
I
there.
know, I know, like all founders do, you're constantly in Starbucks. So coffee has a huge impact on it and a
Mm-hmm.
receptor called the adenosine receptor. So that will, once
Mm-hmm.
that's blocked with coffee, you won't have a good night's sleep. And again, it ruins the sleep architecture. So we've got those two almost factors we want to get rid. And then what we want to put in, again, I mentioned before, was the fish oil. For me, omega fish oil keeps you calm. Magnesium's a really awesome supplement. Magnesium is a muscle relaxant that would keep you calm. And then, dare I say it to the entrepreneur founder world, stop scrolling on your phone at least two
Right.
hours before going to bed. Please, that blue light doesn't help anything with your own sleep circadian rhythm. It really interferes with your
Hmm.
melatonin. So at least if you want to go to bed at 10, I'm sure most founders will be screaming at me right now because you can't go to bed at 10, but you must. This is a thing. So to be productive the next day, we've got to make sleep a priority. So yeah, if you can get off your phone and just do things to make you calm, perhaps listen to things that make you calm. I mean, meditation or yoga. I don't know if people have got time for this. I don't know if people want to do it, but they're really good. You know, they really affect the brain waves and get you into a sleepy mode. That's what you want to do.
So, in order to increase productivity, I think everyone wants to do that to absolute, to maximum. You do recommend an early night's sleep, getting up
Yes.
early, a very nutritious kind of day, no coffee after 12. So these are all
Yes.
great, fantastic pointers for anyone trying to maximize their productivity levels. Um, in terms of, let's say, a burnout. And I know these are very serious things when coming t- discussions around anyone trying to build a business from scratch and trying to execute on a business. Is there, I'd love to hear your thoughts on dealing with a burnout, getting to a burnout, avoiding a
Mm.
burnout, and things like that.
Okay, so let's go for avoiding first of all, because for me,
Hmm.
prevention is definitely better than cure. And I think it goes back to all the weaves I've said before. Adding in a healthy structure to your life will prevent burnout. So if we are
Hmm.
sleeping the correct 7 to 8 hours, or even nine for some people, if we do get that in, you will prevent burnout because what you're doing, you're not slogging all throughout the day. I mean, people who
Hmm.
are working 16, 17 hours, surely there comes to a point where you just the brain fog kicks in. You're not actually managing to have all that output, surely, unless again, unless you're on coffee and you're taking something stimulants to, and that happens as well in the founders world. We've got lots of founders who are resorting to stimulants to keep going, but that's just not going to keep you going in the long run. There will come to a point where your brain and your body will suffer. So I think prevention. So again, getting in the exercise, getting the nutrition, getting in the good company. Your environment, Vlad, is so important for
Hmm.
productivity. And if you've got something going on in team dynamics, for example, someone's toxic, someone's not respectful to you, that's just your productivity will go downhill because you're
Hmm.
thinking about that, or you're monitoring how you're talking and your actions. So environment's really important. So that goes to prevention. Then again, when you get to a stage, this is where the insight becomes really important. My gosh, I'm snappy, I'm irritable, my mood is like this. I'm not concentrating. Having that insight and seeing giving all those names labels might be really important to your behavior because then you can see there's a problem. Someone says reporting that I'm not focusing during a concentration. So again, being insightful to your current state is really important. I'm feeling low in
Hmm.
mood. I feel more tearful. So I could spend again another hour on the signs of depression, anxiety, and stress really in this bit. So once you can see
Hmm.
there's an issue, then addressing with some help, Vlad. And it's okay to get help. I think,
It's okay to get
part of
help.
my
Yeah.
passion, absolutely, part of my passion of getting to a consultant level for mental health was, now everyone talks about mental health. There was a time when I was training, it was
Hmm.
absolutely just, put under the carpet. No one spoke about it. But it's okay to admit that you've got this problem. This is the help I need. And for me as a person, not just for me as a founder, but I need this help because I'm going to crumble otherwise. And I think that's the
Hmm.
other message I want to get out there, Vlad, is that let's get rid of the stigma of mental health. It's not a weakness. It's actually something that we will all go through. 1 in 4 people in their lifetime will go through stress,
Hmm.
depression, adjustment disorder, bereavement. These are normal life cycles. So I think
Hmm.
getting help is absolutely paramount to mental and physical health.
Absolutely. And for you founders out there, of course, you do run your own company. Maybe you could talk a little bit about how, the specifics of how you are helping out founders.
So this is where I'd love to, yeah, I'm going to get passionate about what we do now. So again, going back to the name is Prescribe Life, because they got to a point where myself as a medical doctor, I didn't want to just prescribe medication. Hence, I brought in the factors of nutrition, diet, meditation, anything that's holistic for me is better to elevate your mental health. So we are six now, six medics, so six all consultant psychiatrists. We've actually got an
Hmm.
American doctor who's joined us, which I'm very happy about. So we've got six psychiatrists, all very skilled in mental health, together with coaches for accountability, for performance, for values and purpose in life. Because once you get into the founder journey, if you lose yourself, I think it's really difficult. You get to the point where you're thinking, God, what was I doing this for? Actually, maybe I've lost some friends along the way. I've, ruined family dynamics. So it's really good to stay on a purposeful path is what I want to say as a person. So I think if you've
Hmm.
got people reminding you, this is why you were doing this. So it might seem like a sacrifice now, but you're doing it for the greater good, what have you. For me, having almost like a team of coaches, no doubt it takes you to the top. So Vlad, if we see a founder as an athlete, can I make this analogy?
Hmm.
I don't know if anyone's ever. Uh, so if we see the founder as an athlete, okay, what's
Hmm.
behind an athlete for when they're performing well? Right, they've got a physiotherapist for any injuries. They've got probably a performance coach for their mental visualizations. You're going to win
Hmm.
this
Hmm.
race. They've got someone else, another medic there. They've got a group of experts, right, to let them make them finish and win the race. That's how we're seeing founders, right? There's so much on founders at the moment. They're expected to make these amazing decisions, perform really well, make the returns for the VCs, what have you. But if they're going to crumble, everything around them will
Of
crumble. But
course,
if
yeah,
they've got a team
yeah,
of experts, not just cheering them along, but really sorting out their nutrition, their exercise, and this is what's happening right now. Let's fix this. Then you'll perform really well. And
of
just as a
course,
person, it's not just about performance. As a person, you will thrive. That's what we want. We want people to thrive, not just survive.
of course, absolutely. Well, thank you very much. It's been a very interesting episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it and got some value add, and hope to have you on again back soon.
Thank you. Thanks for your time, Vlad.
Thanks, thanks.